No. Ah, yes, here we have it. Artistic artsy fartsy, it says here. And look, there's a picture of the poster for We're Not Animals. Let's take a look why. We're Not Animals is a sort of art film, sort of. And we have John Cusack. John Cusack basically plays sort of version of himself, and he is fed up with having to film in all these boring Hollywood movies, and he wants something more artistic to do. He wants to find something artistically interesting. And a glorified cameo, which in this case is played by Al Pacino, informs him of an Argentinian filmmaker called Alejandro, and Alejandro has some great new ideas. So they meet with him and he says, I'm going to do a very new approach to the entire filmmaking thing. We're gonna film it in Buenos Aires, and you come along and you take some friends with you, colleagues, and we will make history together, and we will make this awesome, fantastic movie. What's it about? John Cusack asks, and he says, something. He doesn't really know. He doesn't want to, commit himself too much. So they go down to Buenos Aires, and then sort of the movie stops happening all along. It's a weird little thing, because sometimes we have scenes, when they have talking with over dinner, and they're trying to planning what they're going to do. Sometimes Alejandro is somewhere else, and sometimes he's there, and sometimes they're shooting the movie, and sometimes they're not shooting the movie. Actually, if I remember correctly, most of the time they're not shooting the movie and just, sitting around tables and talks, or in a tavern and talk, and their hotel rooms and thinking, and sometimes they are with some women they meet, and sometimes they're not. And wait, what? Yeah, so this isn't exactly a fast-paced action movie with lots of things happening. This is a very, very dialogue-heavy sort of I don't know what to call it, actually. It feels like you're there with them, and sitting there and seeing when they having a wine and eating a steak, or planning stuff, or on the phone. And most of it's shot in black and white, and some it is in color, and once in a while you're thinking, hey, this is a kind of interesting, I wonder where this is going, and then somebody else cut, and then you realize that you were actually seeing the movie that they were filming. Still to this day I have no idea what the movie Alejandro was trying to do, but never mind about that. I don't know if this is some kind of an art project or some kind of a experiment or something like that. Whatever it is, it bored the hell out of me for most parts. You are kind of fascinating to see where this goes. Spoiler, it doesn't go anywhere. All these very long, very dialogue-heavy sequences are kind of, numbing almost. You see, all of these dialogue-heavy sequences, they don't really go anywhere. But on the other hand, they talk a lot about nothing. And sometimes they talk about stuff that has nothing to do with anything of the story, which itself doesn't have anything to do with anything at all. So, case in point, this is a difficult movie to give a proper review about, mostly because it is so unusual. So I will give it points for originality, but I cannot give it points for basically anything else. It's a mundanely shot movie with some fairly talented people. Cusack is always entertaining to see, and I feel there's a lot of improv in this one. You can feel that they have sort of done their darndest to make this movie feel natural, and all the dialogue sequences feels natural, but they mount to nothing. I personally have no problems with these artsy-fartsy movies, but this movie is not fascinating enough for me to get invested. This movie isn't odd enough to really give it that extra level of awesomeness. While not being awful, I really can't recommend this to anybody. There is no really, higher motive behind this. This is just a strange thing they have created. This is just a strange project which somebody came up with and got financed somehow. I have seen far worse movies in my life, and I only half regret seeing it. So take it for what it's worth. It is original, but it is boring, and it is uninteresting, and it doesn't go anywhere, and it is a bit of a waste of time. But at least when you see it for the first time, you believe that you're gonna, experience something, which in case you sort of do, but sort of not. But I have to bring up something. I have to bring up something that nagged me the entire movie. They are wasting a perfectly good Buenos Aires in this. I love Buenos Aires. I have been to Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires is a wonderful city. It's a marvelous city. It's a beautiful and diverse city. It has all these small cities that sort of combine into one. And for some reason they have made Buenos Aires look boring. I don't know how they did that. Most of these shooting locations are indoors, or when they are outside, it's usually zoomed in, so you really can't see anything, because they could have made this grand spectacle where you could really see the vastness of Buenos Aires, but they chose not to do that, and that sort of puzzled me and made me furious in a weird way. That probably won't affect you if you A, have never been to Buenos Aires, B, doesn't live in Buenos Aires. My final verdict would probably be: go to Buenos Aires, don't see this movie. It isn't the worst thing you're ever gonna see, but it's not exactly, the next big thing. So this is pretentious, but it is fascinating. I'm gonna give this one 30. A little bit because I love Buenos Aires so much, and Buenos Aires always gets, an extra point or two. Yeah, we're back again in the Purple Room. Winter is over, I guess. For this time at least. Till next time, this is the Wikstrand signing out.